Hi, Dylan. My name is Therese, and I'm from Comics Beat. How are you?
Hi, Therese. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Love the film. I saw it last week during the Q&A in LA, and I
Oh,
was blown away.
oh, great.
Yeah. I really want to ask you. So, from a producing standpoint, what was the most challenging thing for you bringing this project to life?
I think 80 years of Batman is just daunting. The previous Batmen, the previous directors, these guys are just all legends in our business. And the pact that you make with the audience when you go to make a Batman movie is that you try to hit it out of the park. And there's that sobering moment where you look at Zach's work and Nolan's work and Schumacher's work and Burton's work, and you go, are we crazy? How do we do this? And so we just put this thing, Matt put this thing on his back. He wrote every word, and his direction is impeccable. But we really set out to put the best crew possible together. I had a great partner in Warner Brothers in DC. We had the money that we needed to make this movie. And we had a process that Matt and I had done the Apes movies together. Our process is really trying to capture an authentic world, and we wanted to present Gotham in a way that hadn't quite been done before. So we had a giant production design in real cities. We used Liverpool as our Gotham Square. We had Chicago. We had Central London. We had incredible sets designed by James Chinlin, and our visual effects team, Dan Lemon, who is one of our key guys from the Apes movies. We seamlessly put our skyline, our Gotham, to create this world that felt seamless. I thought I was very happy with the product, but the amount of work that goes into achieving that is a lot. And we had an amazing crew. We had to survive and persevere a pandemic during it, but everybody signed up to go for it. And so I'm happy now that people are getting to see this movie on the big screen. They're reacting the ways that I want, which is it's a big, epic, entertaining movie, but the quality and the care of it is coming through.
Yeah, I definitely felt that. I mean, by the way, Planet of the Apes trilogy, hands down, one of my favorite trilogies. I feel
Oh,
like it's so underrated. I loved it so
thank
much. I
you.
just feel like gotta know that. And talking about some of these characters that you guys picked for it, with the Riddler, we've seen a lot of extravagant versions of him. How did you guys settle on this particular style of the Riddler and not just the costuming, but also his persona?
When you're really trying to make truthful and honest, emotional characters that you can connect with, grounding them is the first order of business. And Matt really wanted to take Batman, Bruce Wayne on an arc that we hadn't seen before, but do it in a way that felt very grounded. His villain needed to feel grounded as well. So once he understood, Matt, that he wanted to, take Batman on a detective story, but one that was going to reveal a lot about himself, Riddler just felt like the perfect villain in the canon to do that, leaving clues to the Batman, suggesting to the Batman that this character Riddler knows more about him than he does himself. That just was something, emotionally Matt was very interested in.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking about emotions, I have to ask you about Batman and Catwoman, my favorite pairing in DC. What was the thought behind the decision to lean into that pairing? Was it just because they are such a popular romantic duo? What did you guys find compelling about that?
I think again, Matt really wanted once Batman. This is year two of Batman, and Matt was very interested in Batman's arrival on the scene. Sets off a chain reaction with all of these characters in the Batman world, and so. Riddler isn't the Riddler until Batman shows up, and Selina Kyle isn't Catwoman until Batman shows up, and Oz is somebody who doesn't want to be called Penguin, but he becomes the Kingpin, of course, because Batman shows up. And so, with Catwoman in particular, as you asked, that was just another side to explore emotionally for Bruce and Batman that Matt was interested in doing. And of course, there's a part of he overcomes his fear. He's not afraid to die, but he is afraid to care about people. And of course, presenting Selina in this way, we know they can never be together because that's who these characters are. But he so desperately wants to be with her, but his fear of caring about somebody prevents him from actually making that happen. And so there's that kind of emotionally tragic thing that's just inherent in that combination. And Zoe, of course, was the perfect Selena casting. And so there you go.
She was amazing. I agree. I really enjoyed the tone of this film, and it feel like it leaned really strongly into sort of a gothic aesthetic. What was the inspiration to that mood and just like the visual landscape and sort of just that darker side of Gotham, which of course we've seen before, but what was your guys' twist on that?
I think we were all just feeling like one, we wanted to make a seamless Gotham where it felt like it was a city on the eastern seaboard of the United States, something that the fans would go, I think I've been to that city, but it doesn't exist. And so we really took a lot of care through production design, through finding physical, tactile buildings that were going to be in our world, that James Chinlund was going to build sets around and our visual effects on top of. Those things really mattered to us, but it was also where we were in our world. And I think we were looking at cities collapsing. We were looking at elected officials not doing the jobs that voters had asked them to do. There was a lot of corruption going on, and so the breaking down of a city was part of our Gotham. And that experience of Batman coming into it with vengeance, having to learn to become more, to present hope to these people, so that this new elected mayor could say this great speech in this movie, where it's time that we have faith in our elected officials. That was a great arc for us, but visually, the place of Gotham needed to look like that. And the hope is, of course, moving forward, that our elected officials can rebound and turn this place into a better city.
Yeah, I mean, I especially really liked Bruce's like mansion. I felt like that was very like he was kind of like Dracula living in that place.
Yeah, the Wayne Tower was a good, to us, it was like another different way to present what Bruce was doing, right, and where he was living, and really show his obsession, letting this tower decay, because all he's obsessed with, all his focus is going towards the Batman. He doesn't care about the other stuff. That is his family legacy to him at that moment in time.
Yeah, and I'm curious about some of those really big action set pieces, especially that Batmobile chase, which I was like on the edge of my seat watching. Can you talk about what was the biggest challenge filming those scenes? I can imagine there were probably a few.
To do a great action scene, you have to have a great character through line through the course of the action. So you have to figure out ways to track the character's evolution through the action. Very hard to do in a cowl and inside a car. And also, Oz is in his car in that chase. We have Rain and other cars on top of that. So, it's just what Matt's intention was from the get-go on the Batmobile chase was to make a visceral, almost like it was a fight between two cars. It was mano a mano, and just see the intensity of the driver behind this, this car that he built. So it's meant to be messy. It's meant to feel dirty. It's dangerous, and scary.
Yeah, it was very. I mean, it was one of the highlights, but also I was terrified.
Cool.
I want to talk about the decision to focus on the election and that being sort of like the kind of the nucleus of the story that people are spinning around. Can you talk a little bit about that and the choice that you guys made to focus on that?
I think, again, Matt wanted to put us in an authentic world where a villain had reason to be in his mind, reason to be forced to these extremes, that Batman then would have to appear to, figure out what was going on and stop. And so, it was less about the election. It was more about the crimes inside of cities. Matt's not interested as a filmmaker showing villainy. He's more interested in showing the process towards becoming a villain. And so his intent is always empathy. He wants to show the audience how someone becomes a bad person. That was the Riddler to him, and that was also something that he felt like was great for Batman, because we hadn't seen Batman the detective having to stop this. And again, it just felt like it was the thing that was the prevailing feeling that was happening in all of our cities around the world. There was a lot of corruption. There was a lot of disappointment in our elected officials, and we wanted to start from a place of vengeance and get to this place of hope. And
Mhm.
inside that, there's this election with somebody that actually presents that hope.
Amazing. Well, again, I really, really enjoyed this movie. Honestly, I think one of my favorite movies so far.
Great.
I hope you guys get more movies. I can't wait to see, maybe Bloodhaven, maybe, I'm just putting it out there, WB, if you're
I love
listening.
it. Thank you so much. Your questions are excellent. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking with me.